Hey wonderful people, I'm Anish and welcome to another episode of Family Tales. Today's story is about a husband telling his wife she's not half the woman his dad's new wife is, and ends with him losing his truck, his money, his pride, and realizing the woman he idolized wouldn't even give him a place to sleep. Let's get into it. I, 32, have been married to my husband, 34, for 6 years. We met through mutual friends, dated for 2 years. Got married in a small ceremony and built what I thought was a solid partnership. Keyword, thought. Some background that matters here. My father-in-law divorced my mother-in-law about 18 months ago after 31 years of marriage. The reason? He'd been having an affair with a woman 15 years younger than him. Classic midlife crisis stuff. My husband was initially furious, wouldn't speak to his dad for 3 months. His mom was devastated, and I spent countless nights with her, helping her navigate lawyers and the emotional wreckage. Then something weird happened. My father-in-law married his affair partner about 6 months ago. Suddenly, my husband did a complete 180. Started visiting them constantly. Came back from every visit talking about how amazing the new wife was, how she really knows how to take care of a man, how she makes everything from scratch, keeps the house spotless, looks put together 24/7. At first I brushed it off. Whatever, he's trying to rebuild a relationship with his dad. I can be the bigger person. But then the comments started. Babe, why don't you ever make homemade pasta? She makes it twice a week. Did you see how she had appetizers ready when we walked in? That's what hosting looks like. She works out every morning before dad wakes up. Maybe you could try that? Each comment was a tiny paper cut. Individually survivable? Collectively? Death by 1,000 slices. The thing is, I work full-time as a paralegal at a busy firm. I commute 45 minutes each way. I handle most of our household finances because my husband is, how do I put this kindly, financially challenged. I pay for his truck because his credit was trashed when we met. The truck is in my name. I co-signed his credit card to help him rebuild credit. I meal prep on Sundays, keep the house reasonably clean, and still somehow find time to maintain relationships with friends and family. But according to my husband, I'm not doing enough. Because I'm not her. Last Thursday was the breaking point. We'd just gotten back from dinner at his dad's place. The new wife had made some elaborate spread, beef Wellington, homemade bread, 3 desserts. Fine. Good for her. She doesn't work and has a housekeeper 3 days a week. Different circumstances, different output. I get it. We walked into our apartment and my husband looked around at our normal, lived-in space and sighed. Actually sighed, like he was disappointed to be home. What? I asked, already exhausted. Nothing. It's just, being over there reminds me what a real home could look like. A real home. You know what I mean. She puts in effort. The details, the presentation, you don't even try anymore. I felt something snap, not dramatically, not loudly, just a quiet internal click, like a circuit breaker flipping off. I work 50 hours a week, I said calmly. I manage all our bills. I pay for your truck. I cook at least 4 dinners a week. See, this is what I mean. He threw his hands up. She never lists what she does. She just does it, with grace. You're always keeping score. Because someone has to or nothing gets paid. That's when he said it. The thing I'll never unhear. You're not half the woman my dad's new wife is. Honestly, I don't know what happened to you, but it's embarrassing. I stared at him, my husband of 6 years, the man I'd built a life with, who I'd supported through job losses, through his parents' divorce, through his own financial disasters, and he was embarrassed by me. I smiled, actually smiled, because in that moment I felt clarity I hadn't experienced in years. Maybe you should go live with them then, I said, since she's so amazing and I'm such a disappointment. He rolled his eyes. Don't be dramatic. I'm not being dramatic. I'm being serious. If she's the standard I can't meet, go live there. I'm sure she'd love to cook for you and fold your underwear. He laughed, actually laughed like I'd made a joke. Whatever, I'm going to bed. He walked past me to the bedroom. I stayed in the living room thinking. And then I made a decision. The next morning, I was up before him. Made coffee, for myself only. When he stumbled out expecting breakfast, the kitchen was clean but empty. No eggs? I'm not half the woman your stepmom is, remember? I'm sure she'd make you some. He looked confused but left for work without pressing it. probably assumed I'd get over it. Here's what I did that day. 1. Called my bank and canceled the auto pay on his truck. The loan is in my name, but it's his vehicle, his problem now. I'd been paying $487 a month for 4 years on a truck he insisted he needed. 2. Stopped by the grocery store on my lunch break, bought food for 1, meal prep portions for 1. My fridge now had my clearly labeled containers. His side? Empty. 3. Texted my mother-in-law to check in on her. We'd remained close despite everything. She deserved to know what her son had become. 4. Hired a cleaning service to come once a week, for my spaces only. Living room, my home office, bathroom. His man cave? Not included. That night, my husband came home to no dinner, no clean laundry waiting, and a wife who was peacefully reading a book in the living room. What's for dinner? Whatever you make yourself, or order, or drive to your dad's. Are you seriously still mad about last night? I looked up from my book. I'm not mad. I'm just accepting my limitations as a woman. You said I don't measure up, so I'm removing myself from the competition. That's so petty, is it? I thought it was graceful. No scorekeeping, just acceptance. He ordered pizza and ate it alone in the kitchen. I went to bed early with a sheet mask on and the door locked. The next week was interesting. He tried to outweight me. I remained committed. His truck payment was due on the 15th. He didn't pay it because he assumed I had. I hadn't. His credit card, the one I co-signed, had a payment due on the 20th. He missed it. Laundry piled up in the spare bathroom. I didn't touch it. The apartment got messier on his side. I kept my spaces clean. By day 10, he finally confronted me. What is your problem? You're acting like a child. I'm acting like someone who heard her husband clearly. You want someone who does everything with grace and never asks for acknowledgement. That's not me. I told you. Maybe you should go live with your dad. I'm not moving in with my dad. Then figure out how to exist here without my labor. Because I'm done being compared to a woman who doesn't work and has help. She doesn't have help. She literally has a housekeeper named come 3 times a week. Your dad mentioned it at Thanksgiving, but sure, she does it all herself. His face went red. He hadn't known that detail, or hadn't cared to remember it. This is ridiculous. You're my wife. You're supposed to... I'm supposed to what? Serve you? That's not what marriage is. It's supposed to be a partnership. Funny, I don't remember you partnering on the truck payment, or the credit card, or the groceries, or literally anything financial in the last 4 years. He stormed out, slammed the door. I assumed he went to a bar or a friend's place. He went to his dad's. Update 1. 2 weeks later. So, things escalated. My husband showed up at his dad's place that night, ranting about how unreasonable I was being. According to my mother-in-law, who got the full story from her daughter, my sister-in-law, who still talks to their dad occasionally, it went something like this. Father-in-law's new wife welcomed him with open arms initially. Made him a late-night snack. Let him vent. My husband apparently said things like, "She's changed, and I don't know who she is anymore, and I just want to come home to a real wife." The new wife nodded sympathetically, said she understood. Said some women forget their purpose. I almost laughed when I heard that part. Their purpose? Sure. But here's where it gets good. My husband, emboldened by her support, asked if he could stay with them for a while, just until I came to my senses. According to the story, there was a long pause. My father-in-law looked at his new wife. She looked back at him with what was described as a very specific smile. "Oh, honey," she said, "we love having you visit, but we're still newlyweds. We need our space. I'm sure you understand." Translation, you're great for validation, not for actually housing and feeding. My husband apparently tried to argue that it would only be temporary. My father-in-law jumped in and said, "Son, you need to work things out with your wife. That's what marriage is." The hypocrisy. This man, who left his wife of 3 decades for a younger woman, was now lecturing his son about working things out. My husband came home that night with his tail between his legs. I was already in bed with the door locked. He slept on the couch. The next morning, reality started hitting harder. He got a call from the auto loan company. Missed payment. Late fee applied. Next missed payment would trigger additional consequences. "Why didn't you pay this?" He was waving his phone at me. "Because it's your truck. I've been paying it for 4 years out of generosity. That generosity ended when you told me I was embarrassing. I didn't mean. You said exactly what you meant. You've been saying it for months. I just finally listened. So what? You're gonna let my truck get repossessed? Your truck? Your problem? Sell it, make payments, do whatever you need to do. I'm not involved anymore. This is financial abuse. I genuinely laughed at that one. I'm sorry, me not giving you money is abuse? Interesting perspective. Write that down and see how it sounds out loud. He called his dad, asked for a loan. His dad said he'd think about it, which we all know means no. He called his mom. She said, and I quote, "Maybe if you hadn't compared your wife to your father's mistress, you wouldn't be in this situation." I love that woman. Over the next week, things got messier. His truck payment remained unpaid. The credit card was now 2 payments behind. He tried to pay the minimum, but realized he couldn't access the account because it was linked to my email. I told him I'd transfer the account to him fully, which would also remove him as an authorized user with any credit benefit. You're ruining my credit. Your credit was ruined when I met you. I've been rebuilding it for you. Now you can manage it yourself. I can't afford both payments. Then prioritize, or sell the truck, or ask your dream stepmom for help. That last line hit something. He went quiet. She won't help, he finally said. I asked. You asked your stepmom for money? I just mentioned I was having trouble, and she said they're on a fixed budget because of the new house renovations. Fixed budget, with the 3-day-a-week housekeeper. Shut up. I'm not saying anything you shouldn't have already figured out. She's not your mom. She's not your friend. She's someone who married your dad for his money and doesn't want to share it with his adult children. He looked at me with something like horror, the realization finally seeping in. Then why? Why does she act so welcoming? Because it costs nothing to be charming when someone visits. It's not real. He sat down heavily on the couch. I almost felt bad for him. Almost. What do I do? That's not my problem anymore. You made it clear I'm not the woman you want, so I'm stepping back to let you find what you're looking for. I don't want a divorce. I didn't say divorce. I said I'm stepping back from being your maid, cook, and financial manager. We're roommates now who happen to be married. Figure out your own life. He didn't respond, just sat there staring at the wall. Good. Let it sink in. Update 2. 6 weeks later. Things have been educational. My husband's truck got repossessed 3 weeks ago. He'd missed 3 payments, and they came for it on a Tuesday morning while he was at work. His coworker called him to say some tow truck was hooking up his vehicle. The scramble was almost impressive. He called the loan company, begged, offered to pay the back amount. They said sure, $1,461 to get current, plus a $350 repossession fee, plus a $200 storage fee. He didn't have it. He called me while I was at work. You have to help me. Please, I need this truck for work. How is this my responsibility? Because you caused this. I stopped paying for something that was never my responsibility. That's not causing anything, that's correcting an imbalance. I'll lose my job, then figure it out, take an Uber, borrow a car, buy a beater. I don't care. He hung up on me. Here's what happened next. He went crawling to his dad again. This time, he actually got somewhere. My father-in-law agreed to loan him the money to get the truck back, but only if my husband signed a repayment agreement. With interest. His own father charged him interest. My father-in-law also apparently had a talk with him about being a man and handling his responsibilities. This from the guy who abandoned his family for someone half his age. The irony was so thick you could choke on it. My husband got the truck back, but now he owes his dad $2,000 and has to keep making the regular payments himself. He's working extra shifts and selling stuff on the side. Meanwhile, the new wife drama evolved into something I didn't expect. About 2 weeks ago, my sister-in-law called me directly. We're not super close, but she's always been decent. Hey, I need to tell you something, but you can't tell anyone I told you. Okay? The new wife? She's been talking about you to anyone who'll listen. Calling you lazy, saying you're ruining her stepson's life, suggesting you're probably cheating because why else would a wife stop taking care of her husband? I literally laughed. She's never met me. I know. But she's building a narrative. Top just wanted you to be aware. So this woman, who refused to let my husband stay with them, who wouldn't loan him a dime, who barely knows me, was trashing me to their social circle. Fascinating. I decided to let it play out. Didn't engage, didn't defend myself, didn't even mention it to my husband. Because here's what I've learned. People who talk like that eventually expose themselves. And she did. Last weekend was my father-in-law's birthday, family gathering at their place. My husband wanted to go, wanted me to come, wanted us to present a united front. Why would I go somewhere I've been publicly trashed by the hostess? His face fell. She didn't. She did, your sister told me, but it's fine. Go enjoy the party. I'll stay here. I don't want to go alone. Then don't go. He went alone. According to multiple sources, here's what happened at the party. The new wife made a big show of asking about me, all faux concern. How's your wife? I hope she's doing better. Marriage can be so hard when one partner isn't pulling their weight. My husband, for once, actually defended me, sort of. She's been dealing with a lot. I maybe said some things I shouldn't have. Oh, honey. The new wife put her hand on his arm. Some women just aren't cut out for the traditional role. It's not your fault. And then my mother-in-law walked in. Apparently, nobody told the new wife that my mother-in-law had been invited by my sister-in-law. The room went dead silent. My mother-in-law, bless her, walked straight up to the new wife and smiled. Interesting to hear you talk about traditional roles. Tell me, what's traditional about sleeping with a married man for 3 years before he leaves his family? The room erupted. My father-in-law tried to intervene. This isn't the time. When is the time? When you're done pretending your affair partner is some paragon of wifehood? Please. My sister-in-law later told me the new wife started crying, real or fake, unclear, and locked herself in the bathroom. The party basically ended. My father-in-law tried to kick my mother-in-law out, and she left willingly, but not before saying to my husband, "Your wife has done more for you in 6 years than this woman will ever do." Think about that before you compare them again. My husband came home that night looking like he'd been hit by a truck, a repossessed truck, specifically. "I messed up," he said. "Yeah. I don't know how to fix this. I don't know if you can." He cried. First time I'd seen him cry in years. I didn't comfort him, but I didn't leave either. Just sat there, letting him feel the weight of his choices. Final update. 3 months later. Here's where we ended up. My husband and I are separated. Not legally yet, but practically. He moved out about 5 weeks ago, renting a room from a coworker. We're doing marriage counseling, his idea, which surprised me, but I'm not optimistic. The thing about betrayal is that it's not just about the act. It's about what it reveals. My husband didn't just insult me, he showed me that for months, maybe years, he'd been building a fantasy of what a wife should be based on a woman who literally exists to perform that role. He compared my real, working, contributing life to a curated performance and found me lacking. That's hard to come back from. Counseling has been illuminating. Our therapist, a no-nonsense woman in her 60s, has been systematically dismantling his assumptions. You expected your wife to work full-time, manage all finances, and also perform the domestic role of a stay-at-home spouse? She asked in our 3rd session. I guess when you put it that way. I'm putting it the only way it can be put. That's what you wanted. That's what you compared her unfavorably against. Is that realistic? He couldn't answer. She also made him list every financial contribution he'd made to our marriage in the last 4 years. The list was short, very short. Meanwhile, I'd been paying his truck, his credit card, the majority of rent, utilities, groceries, insurance. The imbalance was stark on paper. You were essentially being supported by your wife while criticizing her for not doing enough, the therapist said. How does that feel to see? He looked sick. I didn't realize. You didn't want to realize. The reality of his situation has also set in. His credit is worse than before because of the missed payments. His dad expects repayment on that loan and keeps asking about it. His stepmom has apparently grown cold toward him. Probably because he's no longer useful for making her look good now that the family drama has exposed her. Oh, and the best part? My father-in-law is having financial troubles. Turns out the renovations the new wife insisted on went way over budget. They've had to let the housekeeper go. The new wife is now actually having to maintain her own home, and according to my sister-in-law, she's struggling. She burned dinner twice last week, my sister-in-law reported gleefully. Like, smoke alarm going off burned. The woman who makes everything from scratch? Apparently not so much when there's no one to prep ingredients and clean up after her. Funny how that works. My husband and I have had honest conversations now. Really honest. I was jealous of how happy my dad seemed, he admitted during one session. After the divorce, he was miserable. Then he got with her and suddenly he's traveling, smiling, living this great life. I wanted that. So you wanted me to become someone who could give you that feeling? I guess. That's messed up, right? Yeah, it is. I was comparing you to a performance. She was always performing when I visited. That's not real life. No, it's not. He's apologized, multiple times in various ways. I believe he means it. But here's the thing about breaking something. The cracks remain even after you glue it back together. We're taking it slow. He's working on himself. Actually working on himself with his own therapist, his own financial plan, his own life management. First time in years he's been fully responsible for his own existence. I've been focusing on me. Got a promotion at work, started taking pottery classes on Tuesday nights, reconnected with friends I'd neglected because I was too busy being everything to everyone. My mother-in-law has become a genuine friend through all this. We get lunch together regularly. She's thriving post-divorce, bought herself a little condo, started a book club. I wasted 30 years trying to be perfect for a man who didn't appreciate it, she told me recently. Don't make the same mistake. I won't. Will my husband and I make it? I genuinely don't know. He hurt me deeply. The words he said, the way he made me feel invisible in my own home, the constant comparisons, that doesn't just go away because he's sorry now. But I've learned something important through all this. I don't need to be half of anyone. Not his dream woman, not his stepmom's level, not anyone's standard but my own. I stopped cooking, cleaning, and paying his bills, not as revenge, okay, maybe a little as revenge, but as a boundary. A way of saying, this is where my contributions end if you can't value them. And his response, running to the very woman he'd held up as superior, only to be turned away, proved what I'd suspected all along. She never cared about him. She cared about the image of the perfect blended family, the adoring stepson, the validation. When he actually needed help, suddenly they were on a fixed budget. That's the thing about people who perform. They're great at the performance, but when the curtain closes and real life demands real support, they're nowhere to be found. The last text my husband sent me before I started writing this: I'm sorry I ever made you feel less than. You're worth more than I realized. I'm trying to be someone who deserves you. I haven't responded yet. I'm still deciding if I believe him, but here's what I do know. I'm good. Really good. I pay my own bills, live in my own space, answer to no one who doesn't respect me. And if that makes me not half the woman his stepmom is, cool. I'll take it.